Alrighty folks, it's been a hell of a week, but I'm back yet again to talk about some more of the recently announced Mortal Kombat 1. And I honestly wasn't gonna talk about this stuff because initially there appeared to be very little validity, but now we're seeing a little bit of smoke. So here I am to go over these alleged leaks and provide some thoughts. But real quick before that, if you end up enjoying the video, please remember to leave a like and please subscribe. It really means a lot. Thanks in advance, but now let's talk about these leaks. So a day or two before the Mortal Kombat 1 announcement, there was a leak that divulged some details, most of which are still unconfirmed, but the leak did say the game would be called Mortal Kombat 1 and that the first combat pack would include Homelander from The Boys and Peacemaker from DC Comics. Now obviously the Mortal Kombat 1 thing was correct, but at the time of this leak, the Mortal Kombat 1 teaser was already out, and so a lot of people who weren't leakers at all were guessing that the game would be called Mortal Kombat 1 and be a reboot. I mean, it's literally what the teaser implied, so this strange leak getting this one very guessable detail correct didn't make it stick out as particularly true to me. However, we are now in a different situation where a new leak with a little more credence has popped up and seemingly validated the first more questionable leak. This new leak comes from an Amazon Italy item listing that seems to have gone up earlier than intended, and the listing, which is for the Italian version of Mortal Kombat 1, lists the contents of Combat Pack 1. So here's the listing, and at the bottom we can see the 6 playable characters who will allegedly appear in the combat pack. Those characters will be Quan Chi, Omni-Man, Ermac, Peacemaker, Takeda, and Homelander. But it doesn't stop there. We also get a list of the 5 cameo characters that will come in the pack. Those characters being Tremor, Johnny Cage, Chameleon, Movado, and Farah. Okay. Now, let's start off analyzing the 6 playable characters. It has 3 guest characters in it, which comes off a little heavy on guests for this to be the first combat pack, but stranger things have happened. The second iffy thing here, though, is the presence of both Omni-Man from Invincible and Homelander from The Boys. Both very similar characters in ability, which ultimately could make for a less dynamic roster, and I'm not sure if NetherRealm would do that. But on the other hand, NetherRealm does love inserting dream matchups into their games like Alien vs Predator or RoboCop vs Terminator, so I can see a world where they just try to fulfill the long discussed dream battle of the evil Superman archetype characters. But beyond the guest characters, there's really one big thing here that makes me want to believe that this is true, and that's the fact that Ermac is listed as playable. Ermac is my favorite Mortal Kombat character, and it pained me that he wasn't in MK11. So if this leak is daring to give me a glimmer of hope for his return, I'm on board. So yeah, anyway, take this all with a pinch of salt. This is all still unconfirmed and rumored stuff for now, so let's not get our hopes too high, but this whole Amazon thing definitely raises an eyebrow. Outside of the playable characters though, there are a couple of interesting things in regard to the listed cameo characters. The biggest being that Johnny Cage is there. If you remember, the cameo characters are likely non-playable, strictly assist-based characters who will appear in the game. And we knew that Johnny Cage would be in the game via the MK1 website, but we didn't know in what capacity. We all just assumed a playable character because he's Johnny Cage, but judging by this leak, that might not be the case, and even the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage may just be a skin for your cameo character, and also confirmed skins for cameo characters. Or, you know, perhaps some characters will appear as both playable and cameo characters. There are just so many questions we need answers to. Thankfully, I'm sure it won't be too long before we get those answers. But something else I found interesting was Chameleon being listed as a cameo, because I really want to see Chameleon come back in a playable capacity, but this specifically lists Chameleon with a K, which is the female chameleon. The male chameleon is spelled with a C, and so there still may be a chance of him being playable if this leak turns out to be true. Let's not forget that none of this is confirmed. The other interesting cameo character is Farah of the duo Ferrator in Mortal Kombat X, but this doesn't say Ferrator, it just says Farah, and so I wonder if it will just be Farah by herself, because Farah was like the little psychotic girl on top of Tor, or maybe will they go the angle of making Farah herself the big hulking beast that Tor was, because I remember in the lore it said that they were a symbiotic race and that the pilot or the rider or the little person like Farah was essentially sapped the nutrients from Tor or something like that until Tor eventually would die and Farah herself would become the lumbering monster like Tor was and take on her own little tiny rider. I think we even got a glimpse of the big version of Farah at the end of her arcade ladder if I remember correctly. But regardless, I think it's all interesting. Once again, these leaks are not confirmed for now, but I guess we'll see. To me, these leaks feel just believable enough, but also a bit too good to be true, and I'm just really excited to find out if this is true or not. But let me know what you think. Do you think it's true, or do you think it's a lie? And do you want it to be true, or would you rather a different slate of characters for Combat Pack 1? Let me know. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you subscribed. But even if you don't, thanks for watching, and until next time, I am Waifu Belector. I am just a normal guy. I like hentai, and I still just want Ermac to be playable so bad. Goodbye.